Jahi here, live and direct. This is All Roads Lead to the Reasonings. This Saturday, 10/10/20, my 17th solo album. Really looking forward to the music. But what's been getting a lot of conversation is not the music. It has been the artwork. So it is my humble pleasure to bring my brother Afroscope. That's why you'll find him on Instagram, a brother that I had the honor of meeting while on the African continent, man. I miss Ghana so much, but I'm glad we was able to link. And man, welcome, man. Thank you for coming on and talking to us for a few minutes, man.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to work with you as well. It's an honor, it's a pleasure, and it's just been a great experience. So yeah, thanks for that.
Give thanks. So take us back, man. Before we get to the artwork, man, take us back. How did doing art and design become your medium? How did you have that initial connection? Was it something that happened in your childhood? Tell us a little bit about your story and how did you transform into this incredible artist that you are today?
So that's a great question. It's something I'm still figuring out because you always look back and try to connect the dots and figure out how it is you became the person you are. And I always go back to just playing as a young boy here in Ghana with my brothers, playing with Legos, drawing cartoons that I would watch, trying to copy what we would see in storybooks and comics. And yeah, that always stuck with me, that curiosity to tinker, to try out new things. It's kind of followed me all the way till now. And yeah, I always attribute that to how I became this person, right? I've never let go of that curiosity. I think of myself as a professional student who learns for a living and tries things, experiments for a living. And that's been the spirit I've moved with. And so yeah, fast forward to 2020, and I'm still doing the same thing. Still picking up a paper, pencil, trying to put some idea down, and then extend it from there. And I've done that, from analog materials to digital, where I'm now creating photo manipulations, working a little bit with video, just experimenting. That's all it's been for me, just trying out things and not being afraid to make a mistake.
Well, there's I have to say, man, the level of intricate detail on every piece that I've seen you create. Again, man, from the For a Future cover, man, again, man, I got a big up, man. This is the second album of this year, man, and similar to the brother who did the Fela album covers, his name escapes me right now, but you are going to soon become that for me in a lot of ways because the messages that the artist, and man, again, I'll get his name, in way in which he was delivering Fela's records, it was telling the message in and of itself. And earlier in the year, in March, before all of this happened, when we released For a Future, the idea was really celebrating Afrofuturism in a way where we can actually see ourselves as a part of the future, and also bringing some ancient energies with that. And the artwork you did for a Future also was just like right on. And it was interesting how many people didn't really get it at first. And it's like, yeah, that's the whole point that we have to, expose. So tell me a little bit about just your style, because, I've met a few artists while I was in Ghana, and there's something about your style that you really express yourself through color. Sometimes, you had an image of I think it was a phoenix with a wing coming out of and although it was only a few images, it really spoke about rebirth. So tell me a little bit about like what is there a particular artist or art or artists that have inspired you, or how did you lean towards that Afrofuturism energy?
Right. So that's a wonderful thing to ponder. And like I said, all these things are things that for me I just embrace when it's happening through me. Right. It's
Mm,
I'm not always aware of, okay, this is what happened and that led to this and this is why I'm doing that. It's
mm,
um it's sort of just showing up and allowing myself to be guided in a certain way. So
mm,
I'll try to give an answer that speaks to some of the processes that I'm conscious of, but a lot of it is kind of out of my control, and it's
overstood.
something
Over.
I've come to accept as okay. I always wanted to, be the type of artist who has meaning to everything, but it's not everything that I'm completely aware of, and
Sure.
I find that is a bit liberating. But um, that is not to say there's not intentionality. A lot of my work is has become very Afrocentric in a particular way that communicates visions and imaginations of the future, or alternate realities. So my approach is always to, I guess, find a way to communicate an idea that is obviously a bit fantastical, but gets you to imagine how that could relate in reality. And so you have like the image you reference with the bird flying out of the skull. It's like talking about freedom, liberation, but in this very poignant way. And so it's just that idea of finding ways and picking images. I collect images and find ways to put them together in a sort of a collage. So that's kind of the process that I adopt. Sometimes I shoot my own images. Sometimes it's images I collect from books that I'm reading. Interesting images that I have photographer friends who would share stuff with me. So it's a mix of things. A mix of absorbing what's around me. A mix of um, bringing people into the conversation, other artists' ideas, taking those and finding new ways to bring a different outlook, a different perspective to it, but in a way that channels our vision. Because what has happened
Mm,
to us,
mm,
unfortunately, on the continent is we've been fed a lot of imagery, a lot of ideas that speak to another person's future, another person's idea of how we should see ourselves, how we ought
mm,
to behave, what we ought to learn, what we ought to eat. So there's all this flooding of our consciousnesses with foreign media and foreign material.
mm,
So it becomes important for artists to start to imagine, or not just even artists, just everyone who cares about the continent, cares about the people, cares about the people who come after us. It becomes important for us to start putting out images that communicate our own visions.
mm,
And so one thing you also see that is pretty prominent in my work is this imagery of lights coming out of our eyes.
yes. Yes.
It symbolizes both enlightenment and also channeling of our visions, right?
Mm,
Because that's something that matters to me. Even if I can't build it, how can I inspire people to believe that they can? So
mm,
I try to touch on some of these concepts through my work. And in terms of inspiration, my inspirations are so many, so many. One of the ones that stands out the most for me is Wangechi Mutu, who's a brilliant artist. She's African, but she lives in New York, I think now. I know she's East African, but I'm blanking on exactly where she's from. I've
mm,
been really inspired by her collage and her communication of feminine power, the
mm,
divine feminine, or just the African woman, the original woman who is the source of everything that we know and love and cherish.
mm,
And her ways of creating imagery that's so striking, so jarring, that it draws you in. So yeah, she's been a big inspiration. Another one for me and for many young African artists is Jean-Michel Basquiat. I loved his energy and his rawness and just
Mm-hmm.
not being afraid to be himself. And um, yeah, his work has been really inspirational for me. As a matter of fact, I even have his book right here.
I
That's how
say,
yeah,
I say,
yeah,
yeah.
inspiration he is to me. And my younger brother, actually, my younger brother is one of my big inspirations. He does everything:
Mm,
videography, music, plays the guitar, makes beats, makes visual arts, a photographer, everything. And he's always thinking outside the box. He's currently doing his master's in Switzerland, the Master of Design.
mm-hmm.
And we're always communicating, always sharing ideas, pushing each other, looking up new technology that can advance our work in certain ways. Just a lot of back and forth. Even with the work I did on your upcoming album. I shared things with him. He gave me some feedback, and we
Mm-hmm.
worked out. So yeah, I'd say those are three artists I'll talk about as inspirations. Also, because they care, you could tell about their own meaning of what it is to be African, what it is to not be afraid to share what matters to you.
Nah,
Yeah.
man, I really appreciate that, and again, it kind of confirms how we're kindred brothers in a lot of ways because this music comes through me. I consider myself a conduit, you know,
Mm,
and so I can really respect and relate to. People say, "Well, what were you thinking?" I'm like, "Well, I was thinking what was happening in that moment," or
right.
there has become times where I'm actually not thinking or feeling. I'm actually watching my hand I'm watching something come through me, and I'm actually trusting that process. Um, and
Exactly.
and I think in my artistry, I think that's become my new sweet spot where it's not, you don't even question it anymore. You just know that there's a bigger mission than just me as an individual, as an artist. Um, it's more than just me speaking my own personal truth. Um,
Right.
as a brother of African descent who lives in the diaspora, reminding myself and my peers and my people like yourself on the continent that we
Mhm.
are awake, that we are not trying to shove more ideas from a Western point of view. We actually are really trying to embrace our culture in a really authentic way, and use these technology tools to bring us closer together, and also to do business with each other as well too, because we are all we got,
Right.
and
Exactly.
there's been a
Exactly.
lot of conversation around, even from the year of return last year with Ghana, and there's just been a lot of conversation about people embracing, their African selves, and I've been on that journey since 1990, thankfully and humbly that I had some elders and folks to really get into my head, and my heart. So,
Yeah.
I was just in New Orleans filming some live footage, and one of my heroes, Marcus Garvey, who was really important to signal to the world that Africa
Mhm.
was our continent, and to be able to build our consciousness towards that. I found out the last place he was before he was deported was in New Orleans. So here I was
Wow.
in New Orleans with the red, black, and green flag with me, and I just felt that spirit, and I think that's the spirit in which we, a lot of us around the world move, that we have an African sensibility. We understand that Africa is the root of where it is we come from. And although we in the diaspora, we still family. I think that's why when you saw me in Ghana, I kept telling everybody, don't call me no foreigner. I'm your brother, return home. And continuing to build and to do that work, man, it's vital, man. So for me, similar to you with your medium, of art, for me as an MC, man, it's the Chuck D's, it's the KRS Ones, it's the Rakims, it's the Miss Lauren Hills, um, but at the same time, it's the Fela's, it's
Right.
it's the Blitz the ambassadors, and I know what's up with
Yeah.
Sadiki, and I see what's happening in Ghana, right? I see it,
Right.
but again,
Right.
there's a
Right.
there's an interconnectedness that I think that we all have, and you know, art is a wonderful medium to do it, man. And I have to say, when I reached out to you, I didn't have like a necessary image in mind. I knew that, you know, just because of my background with Rasta and the importance of
Mm-hmm.
lions, I wanted lions to be a part of it.
To
And,
feature.
you know, what you were able to do, you know, as I'm looking at the image now, it's become a daily conversation because I feel like I see something new in it almost every day.
Every day, right, right,
You
right,
know,
right.
the lions on the, to me, the lions, and, you know, I'm going to give you my interpretation. This is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share with you what my interpretation came, and then I just want to get more deep into what you
Got it,
created. To me,
got it.
with the ankh in the front, to me that's life. So it's like forward facing,
Right,
life is in front of you. And I felt like the lions on the left and right are protecting me east and west. So they
right.
walking side by side. um you know, the Ndinkra symbols that's on top, how do you pronounce it? I want to make sure I got the pronunciation right.
Jinyame, Jinyame.
Yeah, Jinami,
Mm-hmm.
fear no one but God, right?
Yup, yup, yup.
To have
Supreme God being supreme being, yeah.
and, you know, the idea of omnipresence, you know, that's what came to me
Yeah.
when I saw that. And but I also see pyramids. I see multiple pyramids in various places. And then the middle part to me could be symbolic of the seven chakras. You know,
Mm,
that there's an
mm,
idea that
mm.
when your consciousness is raised, that those it's a cyclical move where your seven chakras open you up so you can really be in tune with your third eye. So that's what I got,
Exactly.
you know, and again, every day when I look at it, I still like, oh wow, the circles on the side. You know, somebody said, well, that looked like Instagram. I said, no, those are portals. Like I see those
Mm,
as, if we want
mm.
to get into African cosmology, you know, it's like those are portals into other, you know, galaxies
Yup,
and
yup,
universe.
yup,
So that's where I was on it, man. So
yup.
I just wanted to give
Incredible.
you that. Yeah, yeah.
Incredible. That's incredible. So, wow, what you said about the chakras and the balance really touched me because this is a new style I'm experimenting with,
Okay.
and the core of it is about that, like the idea of balance and the chakras. And funnily enough, that's where I started from when I was making these kind of works, where it's like a very it's the work is all in the outlines and the spaces,
Hmm.
and it has also this very retro feel. And yeah, like it's spot on, spot on. That part, like I was just like, wow, you
Oh
nailed it.
man. Oh
Yeah,
man. Oh man.
yeah.
Oh man.
It's simple, like the trying to like when we met, and I saw you perform and heard you speak. A lot of what came through me is what you were just sharing about having that having Africa within you, right? You are not you are one of us. You may
That's
be
right.
coming to Ghana from the US, but you're one of us, right?
That's right.
And that has always stuck with me. And so in this, this project that for you is very seminal, and where you're trying to communicate all these messages. Like, I've watched some of the videos you've shared recently, and listening to reflections and some of the words you shared on there. I was like, how do I communicate these sensibilities throughout the work? And that's why I relied a lot on the imagery, like with the Jinyame, right? Talking
Hmm.
about without God, nothing is possible, the supremacy of God, right?
That's right.
And attributing that same character to the continent, right? Like without this place, it's like we are nothing. That
That's right.
this is the source,
That's
right? So
right.
communicating that through the work, and talking about how this is like, kind of quoting what you said in the video that I watched, right? It's not just an album, it's your life. And
I
if
say.
it's a seminal work that's meant to be eternal, how much what is better than having a way to work in the Ankh, the symbol of eternal life,
Hmm.
on there.
That's right.
So all these connections, all these symbols, they just create, they make it more than just um visual arts, and they make it more than just something that makes you dope. It communicates your artistry.
That's
Like
right.
you said, I'm not a narcissist. I'm an artist.
That's
You know,
right.
it's like
That's right. That's right.
it's not just to look cool. It's supposed to communicate your passion for the craft, for the process, and it's something that matters to me as well. So I poured all that in there. I just poured all
Man.
that in,
Well, let me tell you,
and
man, it's full, man, and also, man, for this record to come out on Tough Gong, man, which is Bob Marley's
mm,
label
mm,
and Bob
yeah,
Marley's family. Again, man, this is legacy work that we're doing, man, and again, it's not all everybody's. It's like they're like, wow, what's up with the artwork? I'm like, it's not just an artwork. Like
mm-hmm,
there is a conversation, and I think the
mm-hmm,
conversation will continue to evolve. I think it's our role and job to be able to use whatever mediums that we have to continue to push Africa to the
exactly,
forefront. To me, that's everything. And you know, Bob Marley was really important in my journey to getting to have an African consciousness and to be able to embrace Africa as my home. Bob Marley had a
right,
lot to do with that, with his music, and again, I'm attempting to do the same thing with mine. And again, I
yeah,
think that the power of your art and your pen and your intentionality is important, because I think the intentionality, I think people want to know where we really stand, not just what we do, but
right,
where we really stand.
exactly.
I've always tried to do that. So what I want you to tell us now, man, is I want people to know where they can find you. I know where I can find you on Instagram, but I'd like for you to just share like all of your links that people can, if they're interested in finding out more about you, more about your art, and what you share, how they can find you.
Okay, so on Instagram you can find me at Afroscope. That is my handle, and to find out more about what I'm working on, you can sign up to my newsletter on afroscope.com. Um, and I have a website where you can see some of my work, like a gallery type space. It's nanaopokustudio.com. My name is Nana Opoku. And yeah, so my design and art gallery, I've named it after myself. And so it's
Mhm.
nanaopokustudio.com. So you can check out some work there. And yeah, hopefully we get in touch and work together as well.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Well, look, I want you to stay safe. You and your family to stay safe in Ghana. The borders are open. We just been trying to
Hmm.
wait. We just been trying to wait to negotiate the best time because they're still talking about paying $200 for a COVID test when you arrive, and so we
Are
gonna
you
try.
looking to come back soon?
Quite honestly, without COVID, we'd be having this conversation face to face.
Wow, wow.
But I will say that in 2021, you'll see me, man.
Good.
God willing, I will be on the African continent so we can continue this conversation and look
Got
forward
it.
to continue to build, man. So
Got
Nana
it.
Afroscope live in the building. Thank you very much again for blessing us with the artwork for Reasonings 10, 10, 20, man. And salute and respect to you and your family, man. Ashe, ashe, ashe.
Sure. Salute.
All right.
Thank you.